Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is Free Speech on Air. Francis Capelle speaking, reporting all the way down from the Netherlands, Holland, that small little country, so hard to find for the most of you on the European map. But you heard of it, of course. Amsterdam, Freeport, and Red Light District. That's right. Now, in the former episode, I talked about the fact that that there is a way out, and that we have to unite. Not only uh, we have to unite our finances to be able to get out. I believed it then, and I believe that now. I believe that most of us that call themselves awake are still in a pretty deep coma. Excuse me for saying it, but that's just the way I feel. That's just the way it is. That's just the way. And to me, that's just the way it is. It's just the way I see things. It's basically my view. When I started out Free Speech on Air in Holland, that was basically the general message behind all the things I spoke about. The general message was that those who think that they are awake are asleep. They are dreaming. They are basically caught up in this dream, and this dream tells them that they are awake, but they are not. You see, look at the world today. So many people glued to whether it is their television set. Those are the people that we consider dummies, right? Those who watch the ball games and the soap operas and God knows what else. And then you have the other group, the other party, glued to a different kind of screen, their computer screen, looking at the same things, but just from out a different angle. You see, as long as we're in front of those screens, the elite basically gets what it wants. I stated that a long time ago in Dutch, one of the statements was that I could not sincerely believe that David Rockefeller had nothing else to do than type in his name in Google and see what would come out. I could not believe that. I don't believe that the elite is constantly typing in their family name to see what is said about them. Why should they care? As long as things are said without any attempt to turn this beast around, they are safe. That's what I believe. And it might sound that I'm on a very high horse when I state that so far nobody proved me wrong, but that's just a matter of fact. Because there's no evidence whatsoever that the world turned into a more transparent place, a more safe place, ever since we started using the internet. Ever since we started what we could call those info wars, the world just went on. the will of the elite is the only law that is apparently effective. And that's about it, folks. That's what I see, and that's what I believe, and that's what I feel. Even within the group that calls itself awake, there are too many divisions, if you like, to unite that group. You see, look at 9/11, the no plane theory, thermite. No, it was a nuclear underground blast. It was this, it was that, it was controlled demolition. The Bushes were behind it. Larry Silverstein was behind it. This was behind it, that was behind it. There are so many theories and angles out there. And in my opinion, it's all created to serve the needs of the audience. I believe that what we could call the alternative media, the so-called free internet press kind of media, became a dark, more sarcastic, more ogreish kind of entertainment. But it is entertainment still the same. What good does it do? How much proof do we actually need before we act upon it? That's what I ask myself. You see, overnight the world turned into this global police station. We had millions and millions and millions of detectives all of a sudden starting to investigate cases and solving them on the internet. And that was about it. Of course, internet is it's a great tool in terms of we can choose to reach out to one another, and to talk to one another. We can share our knowledge, we can share our experiences. We can use this mighty tool, but we have to recognize that outside this tool, there is a whole different ball game going on. There's this real world events going on. And no matter you call 9/11 a hoax or Sandy Hook a hoax, whatever you want to call it, whatever your point of view is, it doesn't change the direction that we notice if we step outside our doors into the cities, into the streets, if we listen to the hearts, if we start listening to the hearts and minds of those who are our neighbors, our friends. There is a widespread sense of whatever happens, we are not able to stop it. And then there was this other group that is somehow caught up in the belief that they are already changing this planet by exposing, well, whatever it is that they expose. It's like a detective calls somebody in the New York metropolitan area, and he calls a certain number, and this guy picks up the phone and he says, well, Frank, listen, we have this cam in front of your house, and I see a I see a killer entering your house right now, so you most likely will be killed, but his name is, the name of the killer is John. Have a nice day. Goodbye. How insane is that? Because what good does knowledge do if we can't stop what's coming for us? It's the same thing. So when I spoke, when I started to speak about my points of view in Dutch, there was this group of people who started to see, well, there is some merit in what this guy is stating. It sounds pretty reasonable, if you think of it. You see, the elite wants to divide us, and they do a great job on it. The only thing they really fear, it's not the 99%. They don't fear the 99%. Why should they? There is no 99% in the first place to begin with. As long as we struggle our personal battles, as long as we struggle all alone, as long as we have to fight our personal wars, as long as all that stays into place, they don't have to fear anybody. Why should they? They openly show themselves. They in the yards of Saint-Tropez or Monaco, they show off their possessions, their $1 million yachts, their lifestyle, their flash, panache. They don't hide that. They have their own shows on MTV, their teenage parties, their $1 million parties, and this show has their lifestyle. Look what I've achieved. Look what I've got. I've got a boat. I've got some planes, a helicopter. I've got a house with 3 pools and 500 rooms, and nobody's living there. They show us all that. That's what they do. They keep us from uniting. And to my astonishment, the free press, the equivalent of InfoWars and all that, didn't end it. It's all the same. We are looking at a screen, listening to Alex Jones instead of listening to CNN. But I guess that we need to act. We need to start acting like the human race. And it's a pretty normal, it's a absolutely logic fact that being in large groups, creating real communities, is the only way to regain our strength. We need to finance our operations. That's what we do. I don't need to finance my operation. That's the good news. You see, most of those guys who claim that as soon as they start to talk about money, they start to talk about money that is needed to expand their ways of reaching the people, to pay their staffs, to pay their bills, to pay all that. But I don't need that. I don't want it. And I guess it's not even needed. You see, as long as I have this voice and as long as I have this voice and I have a device that I can record it on, and as long as I can get my message out there, it will reach you if you're looking. So I don't need $1 million or $2 million on a yearly basis or $3 million on a yearly basis to expand my operation. As a matter of fact, I don't need anything. What humanity needs is the financial power to form this counterweight and to drive out the elite using their own weapons, turning their own weapons against them. Buy yourself into this. Take care of each other. Create a massive, a huge group that every month puts a little something into a bank account that belongs to that organization, to that group. Call it, for instance, the free speech on air movement, right? Or whatever you want to call it. I don't care how you call it. Call it something. Give it a name. And create this group of people that basically pay into an account for the benefit of the group. So this money, if you pay something in, it's also your money. Now, this way, if you create a large group of, if you would have a large group of people, let's say 10 million people who spend $10 a month, we would talk about, then we would talk about $100 million coming in each and every month. Now, just like Antonio Montana would say, well, that's some serious money, Frank. Yeah, that's serious money. And you can do a lot of good with serious money. You can build an army with that kind of money. And that's it. That's my topic. It's not, you see, the New World Order is something that is always described as creating a problem, drawing attention to it, and selling the solution. Now, what does the so-called alternative media do? Showing us the problem, selling some solutions, but that's about it. But I believe that people can do a lot more and can do a lot better than this. I believe that power to the people is a dirty phrase because it says that the people have no power. We have to bring it back to the people, and it's a true statement though. The people don't have power. They don't have any influence whatsoever over whatever politics are going on. They don't have that power. But if they could create an awareness and share whatever is left, whatever they still have, money-wise that is, then you could create a serious financial bombshell, a financial weapon. I never believed in revolutions. I mean, there were so many, history recorded so many revolutions and bloodshed, and here we are. And this time it's a global crisis. The same people are still benefiting from it. So what did it all change? I don't believe in violent solutions. I never did. You see, a war, how could you create peace by using war? Or how could war possibly create peace? It only creates vendetta. It creates revenge that sleeps. But it is there, all right. People were hurt. People lost everything in the process. People are angry. And slowly and surely, all those unjust and criminal acts that were committed against them during this war or revolution are they will start, eating away at peace, and they will start to fuel the need for getting even. And that's why I always stated that, whatever comes from revolution, it's a vendetta that sleeps. Why should you need, if we would protest in a violent way, the only thing we would do is destroying the infrastructure that we paid for in the first place. It's like smashing your television and then claim, well, CNN cannot lie to me anymore. There are other ways. Turn your TV set off. You don't have to destroy it. I mean, I don't have to kill my employer to make sure that I never will work for this guy again. I could quit. But that's the thing. Speaking out against the establishment will cost you a lot. It could cost you your job, and it will always cost you your income. Now, if there's no group that has your back, why should you speak out? If your battles have to be fought individually, why should you care? And this is exactly what we need to change. Francis Capelle, Free Speech on Air.